Thank you for joining us for today's AGM webinar. My name is Justine Gray, and I am the Director of Membership and Education, and I'm so excited to be helping out presenting today's webinar, Maximizing Your Presence: Insider Tips to Successfully Navigate the Atlanta Market and Las Vegas Market. So with that being said, we're going to dive in with some fun videos from our friends at ANDMORE, and I'd love for Sarah to tell us a little bit about Atlanta Market to get us started here.
Wonderful. Thank you, Justine and AGM. My name is Sarah Schutz, Director of Buyer Services for Atlanta and Las Vegas Market. This here is our Atlanta Market. It is on the America's Mart campus in downtown Atlanta. There's 3 different buildings, about 8 million square feet, over 8,000 brands of apparel, gift, and home.
We have a video from Las Vegas Market as well.
And just a quick comparison, so Las Vegas Market is our World Market Center campus. It's 4 adjacent buildings, 5.5 million square feet, and 3,500 product lines, which is gift, home, and furniture.
Terrific, thank you. So I'd love to introduce our panelists. So we have Sarah Schutz, as we just heard from, who is the Director of Buyer Services, Multiplier, and Groups at ANDMORE, and we're very grateful for our partnership with them for both this webinar and year-round and their amazing markets that they put on. We also have Alicia Lane, AGM Secretary Treasurer and the Director of Retail at Quail West Golf and Country Club in Naples, Florida. And we also have Tammy Beckman, the accessory, gift, glove, and footwear buyer at Morton Golf, Hagen Oaks Golf Complex in Sacramento, California. So thank you all for lending your time and expertise as buyers of the Atlanta and Las Vegas markets. So taking a look at what we're going to talk about today, we're going to cover some insider insights for both of the Atlanta market and Las Vegas market. Then we're going to talk about strategic navigation to maximize both time and resources during your market visits, and really how to optimize your market experience overall and the opportunities that are there. And really our goal here is to help you all make the most of your time at these summer markets. We know they can be overwhelming. There's lots to see, limited time. So really make the most of your time there.
For sure. For sure.
So as we get started here, I'd love to have both Tammy and Alicia start us out with kind of their quick takeaways, their top tips for visiting the markets and what they do to prepare for a successful market experience when they're planning their visits.
You want me to go I'll go first, Alicia.
Go ahead.
I would say that you definitely need to know what you're looking. You need to know what you're looking for. For us, we carry gifts all year long. I have 3 dedicated gift tables in the shop, and what I look for is what do you need versus what do you want to buy. Do you have certain events that are coming up in your shop that you are specifically looking for a gift for? Something out of the realm of your normal, what you would find at the PGA show. You're looking for something totally different than something you would find there. You also need to make sure you know where you're going. They'll give you a map of the buildings, and it'll tell you exactly what floor has what type of gift, whether it's furniture or if it's just seasonal gifts or regular gifts. And then the map will tell you where all your temporaries are and things like that. So you just want to make sure you have that map and you know where you're going in advance, and definitely know what you're looking for. Sometimes you're going there to actually be surprised at what you find. We're looking for a needle in a haystack when it comes for specifically to golf specific gifts, which at that show is sometimes hard to find, but surprisingly a lot of those companies have some kind of golf themed gift there. So you definitely want to know what you're looking for and have in mind either an event, or if you're shopping for certain times of the year. Are you going there to buy for Christmas? Are you going there to buy for the spring? Are you buying for some kind of Easter event? So you need to know what you're looking for ahead of time. And then have some money available for some pleasant surprises too. So that would be and make sure you know what your open to buy looks like. That's important. Alicia?
Always. Yeah, it's a nice guide. It's
Yeah.
a nice guide for sure. Yeah. My preparation is very similar, but I put a little bit more detail into ours. So my merchandiser, she attends with me. And prior to the Atlanta show, we set up meetings with the director of golf, food and beverage director, and our ladies golf committee, because they like to do their themes. And I know that we all go through this same processes every year. How do we find another gift that's different, that's exciting, that's enticing? So we get that in advance from them. And then we have a notebook, notes in our phone of the items that we're looking for based on the themes and based on the budgets that each event has. So we go armed with that first and foremost, just so we can deal with that right away. From there, we methodically work our way through each building. And with the map, I'm going to tell you all right now, I'm really good with directions. I still get lost. And
Yeah.
Don't get upset with yourself if you get lost. It is overwhelming. It is huge. But going armed with the map helps. And our plan when we get there is methodically go to one building, every floor, circle it up, circle the next floor, go to the next floor, circle. The key is to remember where you ended. So also put that in your notes at the end of the day, because you are absolutely exhausted from all of it and it's hard to remember everything. The next thing I would say is don't skip the floors that have items you think you don't want, because that is where you find the hidden gems. We ended up finding some amazing props and displays on the furniture and home goods floors that we would have just decidedly walked past. Don't discount it just because you think you don't need it. It's worth a quick look to find those hidden gems. The last thing I do to prepare is I take really comfortable shoes. Do not take one pair of shoes and think that will work. Take 2 or 3 different shoes, because if you wear the same shoes 2 days in a row, the second day your feet start to hurt a lot faster. You need to wear a different shoe the next day, so it's a little bit different pressure points on your feet. Just trust me on this. I learned by mistakes here. You're going to plan over 20,000 steps a day, and definitely take water with you. That's my preparation.
I was saying before, I think everybody got on that our owner likes to call it's 7 times as big as the PGA show. So if you know what the PGA show floor looks like, imagine that 7 times larger. And how you said, Alicia, you guys go up, we start at the top and we go down. We take a building, we start at building 2 or whatever usually, and we go down floor by floor. And then sometimes it takes us all day to get through one building. Sometimes it takes us a day and a half. We try to make sure we have enough time every day to get through. And then if we don't, we make a note too and go back to where we ended or we left off, because you definitely don't want to miss anything. So it's easy to miss it. So you have to really be very careful about walking through. So
the
Alicia,
shopping maze.
I love the idea of how you collaborate with your other departments at your property. What a great opportunity for synergy and just another way to work together and help each other. That's a really great opportunity there.
And they appreciate it too, because we're all looking for something. And I feel like over the last few years, the budgets haven't really increased as much as, say, the price of our products have. And so trying to find those hidden gems at some place like the Atlanta or Vegas market are becoming more and more viable solutions for us to find those hidden, less expensive, but yet really high quality gems. It's been worth our time.
Terrific. And I see Sarah posted in the chat for everyone some links to the interactive floor maps for both of the markets as well as the exhibitor directory. So thank you for those good links to bookmark. And before we move on, my apologies, I did forgot to mention at the top of the webinar that ANDMORE is kindly sponsoring and giving away a gift card for one of our live attendees of this webinar today. So we're going to do a live drawing of a name at the end. So stay tuned. ANDMORE is kindly giving away a digital gift card. So thank you for that. And I believe you must be attending one of the markets to qualify. Is that correct, Sarah?
That is, yes, please. We're glad to give one lucky recipient that will be randomly selected a $200 Giftly digital gift card. So the two, please, stipulations are one, that you're eligible to be registered and badged as a credentialed buyer, and that two, you do indeed attend either of our summer markets. And it's then once we're able to verify your market attendance, that digital gift card is awarded. And also just the interactive floor maps that the ladies were speaking of that I included in the links. Another good heads up is using the escalators and those floor sky bridges. Please save yourself the steps and the up and down and the back and forth. In Las Vegas, our campus of permanent showrooms has more escalators than any place, any singular other property in the entire city. It's, I think, something like 86 escalators with only 44 elevators. So there's twice as many. Just helpful tip to, again, be navigating not only locations, but also product categories and other criterion using our exhibitor directories.
I was going to say the escalators is the easiest way to get from floor to floor. I will say that, but also at the top of each escalator, it gives you an outline of all the companies are on that floor. So you can actually see it right when you get off the escalator, like who's going to be on that floor, and then you're on the right floor if you're looking for someone specific.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. So Sarah, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about any recommendations. What do buyers identify when they're looking for emerging trends? How do they spot them? How do they know what is upcoming before they're mainstream? So any tips or tricks on that, even if there's particular areas to look for them once you're in market, what should they be keeping their eyes out for those trends?
For certain. Organizations like AGM that produce such wonderful educational tracks, as you all do with your certified retail manager program. I think those are really powerful tools that not a lot of other places offer. Jennifer is going to be our Las Vegas Market Summer 2024 Market Pro, so that she'll go around market and be scouting the hottest picks as she sees them for us to share through other buyers through our social media channels. I'd also recommend following the publications, stores, brands that you like, even your competitors, to keep fingers on the pulse of what they're seeing and doing. And also just tapping, there's so many subject matter experts in merchandising, colors, retail math. Those are some of the ways that I try to keep my fingers on the pulse.
Terrific. And is there anything that the group would recommend, mistakes to avoid, things you might see a first-time buyer attending one of these larger markets on their first visit? Anything, common mistakes or things to just look out for to make sure you have the most positive and best experience you can on your first market?
Alicia, I know you go with a partner. I go with a few partners too. And I would say the biggest thing is we don't split up. We stay as like a little group and we walk through, because everybody's eyes are looking in all the directions, because it's not like a grocery store where you walk in a straight line in everybody's little store that they have. You got to look around, because there's everything on different shelves, and if you're looking for something specific, you need more than just your eyes looking for it. That would be my biggest. Don't split up if you don't have to. It's better to go as a pack, and then you move your way through. That would be like my number one.
Yeah, it's very easy to get overstimulated, overwhelmed over everything. So staying together in a group and looking different directions. Amy and I call it the squirrel effect. You're looking one way, then all of a sudden you're like, squirrel, because there's something else over here. And it all is so attractive and so enticing that you get pulled in so many directions. You want to take time over here, you have to go see that. You're like, I'll be back to see that. And
And then you
it's
don't go
really
back, forget. Yeah.
you
so.
forget. Yeah, it's overwhelming. Just stick with your strategy of your being methodical first and foremost. And if you stay with that, you're still going to get overstimulated. You're still going to get oversensitized to literally everything, but it's really worth it. At the end of the day, we organize ourselves by taking pictures, and then we leave notes we write notes in the pictures of location, what we're thinking of it for, website if they have it, we put notes on the backside. And then once we go back to the hotel at night, we compile everything into folders so we can reference back to it later. It's tedious. Some days we have 10 pictures, some days we have 100 pictures. It just depends on what we've seen that day. And again, that's how we find the hidden gems.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Hmm?
All right. So we did speak a little bit about navigating the markets, but does anyone have anything to add as far as any specific strategies to navigating the vast market environment without feeling overwhelmed?
I don't know if there's a way to not feel overwhelmed, just to be as
Yeah.
organized as you can. Take notes with you if you're looking for something specific, and then just take a lot of notes and pictures while you're there to keep organized so you don't get overwhelmed, because you think you're going to remember, oh, I saw that, I'll remember that. You're seriously not going to remember it, because after 3 days of all the floors and all the walking, find a way to keep your notes and yourself organized the entire time, whether it's an electronic notebook, your phone where you take notes. That's the only thing that's going to keep you from getting overwhelmed in your brain and your body, because you're already going to be tired. Your brain's going to see a lot, you're going to hear a lot, you're going to have sales pitches. Just take notes where you can and move on. In those few times that you want to write orders, I think I wrote 6 orders, maybe the last show. I didn't write an overwhelming number at the show, but I wrote a lot overall. So just if you don't feel like writing right then, don't feel the pressure to. Write notes in your phone, come back to it, then write the order.
That's funny because I write all my orders when I'm in Atlanta. So yeah, because for me to write it down, because I'm probably way old school and I put it in a notebook, and I have a notebook where I'm writing all my messages and my notes to myself. But I write when I'm there, because I feel like if I don't write it when I'm there, then I'll forget what I liked best, or if I saw something after the first thing that I saw, like the first thing that I saw, then I'd forget which one was, because you see similar things along the way, and especially if you have an idea of what you're buying for, you need to like check that off your list. Okay, I've already gotten whatever, how you were saying you have it for this event and it's this theme. Okay, check that off. Now moving on to the next thing, because if you're still looking for all the 10 things that you started looking, it's very overwhelming that way. So that I would say find what you came to look for, and then move on to the next thing, move on to the next theme, or stay a little bit more streamlined for you. So.
I'm smiling. Oh, please.
One of the things for navigation, it's not really a strategy, but take cash, because the cash and carry is so much fun. Yeah, do not pass by the cash and carry. It is worth it. It is fun. It's awesome. You can do personal, professional. It's awesome.
I was just going to say I'm smiling ear to ear because we hadn't discussed beforehand what precisely we were going to be talking about, but coming from seasoned pros, it's exactly what we hear aftermarket is we get like this guessing game of, I think it was on this floor and it was this color and where could it possibly be? So I can't encourage you enough how they're saying, with very careful showroom and location notes, taking pictures. And that's something also that our market plan, our digital app, as well as it's available on our website, where you'd be able to take those careful notes on product details, locations, photos.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Oh, one more thing. I don't know if it's really a navigational or a pitfall or anything like that, but if you are going to write when you're at the show, I have them print me a copy of everything I
Every
order,
order.
so that I have a hard copy of it, because when you get back and you have 56 emails from different companies telling you, okay, here's this, and then make sure you have your own system of how you're going to give them a PO number, because they're going to need a PO number. And whether it's their booth number that you're using as your PO numbering system, just have a system that you're going with ahead of time. Is it the date? Is it the floor? And then their booth number? Is it something? But just have your own strategy of how you're going to, what PO number you're going to give them when you do make the buy. That's one of the things. Don't forget to give them a PO, because your shipping and receiving will need to know who that is and where it's coming from and when it's due.
Absolutely. And Linda wrote in the chat, cash and carry is great at the Atlanta market. So another agree on that for cash and carry. Awesome. So when you are managing your time for these larger market events, how do you ensure that you are visiting your essential vendors? Are there certain vendors you seek out every year here? How do you manage and balance that time between new discovery time and vendor partners that you plan to see regularly?
For me, I do not make appointments other than my AGM obligations, the breakfast or lunch or happy hours. I don't make specific appointments, because I would be one of those people that I would make an appointment that's here to be done in an hour, and then an hour later I'm supposed to be clear over on the other building. So I don't do appointments for that reason. When I just stick with my methodical. I know there's some people who only go for certain things. They go to one floor, they do one thing, and that's great. But I really am there searching and looking and digging and finding something new, different, exciting. I even go through the home decor to get props and displays now. I redid all my Christmas decorations in the shop this year with items I found there. It was phenomenal. So I've decided that I'm just going to go and hit as many floors as I can, and manage my time the best I can on those floors. Again, saying, let me take your card, let me take your information, I'll get back with you. Because I'm not there to write a bunch of orders, I'm there to find hidden gems. And if it's something I have to have, or I know Simply Southern, I wrote that at the show, and it was worth it. It was unbelievable. I had 99% sell through of my Simply Southern. So things like that, I'll take the time to write when I get there. But the rest of it's just, I get it when I get it.
I was going to say they also have show specials. So just be aware that when you're in a company and you might want to wait to write it, or you want to write it, then just make sure you are aware of what the show specials are. And sometimes they're excellent, and sometimes you need 6 of something, but they require you the minimum's 100 of something that obviously doesn't work for us. So you do have to do that too. But what I suggest that you do, though, even though they say their minimum is 100 pieces of something, or it's $2,000 opening order or whatever, just ask, because you never know what answer you're going to get. We've in the past had some no's and we've had some yeses. I always encourage you to ask, even though the paper says minimums, blah, blah, blah. Would you consider opening a new account? And here's how many we would need, because we're a golf shop. We don't need 100, whatever it is, gnomes.
It's true.
For instance.
Yeah, some of the minimums are tough, for sure.
Yeah, they are tough. It's tough, and we're not big giant stores that have tons of room for gifts. So
yeah, that's a good point to make, because a lot of them, I know that there are several, especially on the furniture side, they're $3,000 to $5,000. I'm like, yeah, no, don't need that many props and displays, but
Great. Jennifer asked in the chat, how many days should one plan for attending these shows? What do you all recommend?
I go 3.
I go 2.5 usually, because it takes us a long time to get back to California. So the half day is usually our flyback day. But like, we do a whole building one day, we do a whole building another day, and sometimes some of another. We usually do 2. It takes us building 2. It takes us all day. at least. Sometimes we go back. And then we dabble in building 1 and we do a little dabbling in building 3, but we make plenty of time for the temporaries because we find really fun new things in the temporaries. So we always want to make sure that when you do go, you go when the temporaries are open, because I don't think they're open the whole time the market is open. Sarah, is that correct?
Correct. There are some offsetting hours. So that would be one of my suggestions, is definitely being clear on when temps are open versus permanent showroom hours in a time management suggestion.
Yes, and Jennifer asked here in the chat as well, what is the difference between the showrooms and the temporaries? Sarah, could you help clarify that a little bit for
For
folks?
certain. So both our Atlanta and Las Vegas campuses have permanent showrooms that are there year round, which do include some day-to-day business depending on your product categories. The showrooms are permanent, and there, whether it's the manufacturer or it could be a rep group, that our showrooms are staying there and throughout the year potentially available for business. Whereas our temporary exhibitors are pertaining to the smaller companies that are, for example, in Las Vegas market in the expo, and in Atlanta market, they're scattered across multiple buildings and floors. But those are the companies that move in just for the few days of market and move out at the end of the week. As it was acknowledged, that can be a really exciting shopping area just because it is the smaller companies that you might be less familiar with.
Great, thank you, Sarah. And Sarah, could you tell us a little bit more about some of the other resources, what schedules, maps, things like that are available to help folks organize? I know you shared in the chat available amenities and locations. Could you tell us a little bit about some of those that folks can expect to see at market?
I wanted to be sure to put that in the chat because it was mentioned about finding an ATM for the cash and carry. So whether it is very practical needs like ATM, first aid, quick links to anything, our buyers lounges are complimentary amenities. So that would be a good location page to reference.
Great. And do folks have to register separately to visit those buyer lounges, or is it open to all
No.
registered folks?
Not at all. Buyers are welcome to attend. The hours are the same as market hours for those lounges.
Alicia, have you ever been into a buyer's? I don't think I've ever found a buyer. I don't know if I ever looked for a buyer's lounge before. So that's something to look for this year, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be crashing 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah,
for sure.
Usually we're in the hallway on a bench by a bathroom or something, because you guys do have a lot of bathrooms and we appreciate that. So thank you very much. And they're not hard to find, which is good.
I'm usually trying to find some glimmer of sunshine coming in somewhere because I'm freezing cold. Yeah.
The buyer's lounges in Atlanta is in building 2, floor 8.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Is it by the Chick-fil-A, like all the lunch area too?
Nearby.
Yes. So
The app has turn-by-turn directions, so you're able to scout maybe that way. Could be the best.
Okay, good.
To get you acquainted.
They do have lunch places, so you guys just make sure you save some time so that you can eat, because you do definitely need to get some more energy to finish your day there. And they do have different locations, so it's on the map, and you can check their building maps. They tell you where all the food is located. So
yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's very good. Chicken salad, Chick-fil-A. Was there an Asian one? Is that what the other one down below? Can't remember what the other one at down in the atrium area. So I think another thing to watch and listen for are the fashion shows and the moderators and chats that go on in the main area on the main floor. They have some really great people there from different companies, different types of companies, fashion, furniture, whatever you're looking for. And they do chats up on the stage, which I think is really exciting and interesting. I remember my first year, I think it was 2 years ago. That was where I first saw that the huge bell bottoms were back, was on the stage there in Atlanta. I was like, oh my God, they're coming back. I'm only 5'2". Bell bottoms wear me. I can't wear them, but I love the look and the fashion. And I was talking to people back here saying, oh my God, bell bottoms are back. They're going to be huge. And they're like, no, like they couldn't believe it. I'm like, and Next thing you know, it comes from there to here. So I thought that was really interesting. I was just sitting off to the side, eating lunch, and was watching it from afar. I could hear the music, but I couldn't hear what they were saying. And seeing those emerging trends, I thought was really exciting.
Good place to see them, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Very cool to be on the cutting edge of trends there and see them trickle down eventually to retailers. So that's great. Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about the food and drink that is also offered to buyers in many of the showrooms and what folks can expect to see there?
For certain. As it was acknowledged, it can be very overwhelming and also extremely tiring. 20,000 steps is no joke. So we do work to provide some complimentary amenities to our valued buyers. You're welcome to click through the complete event schedule that I put in the chat for additional details. But then separately, showrooms definitely arrange their own hospitality, just depending from showroom to showroom. So the savvy ones have food and drink, whole spread for you all, for certain.
Yeah, you don't need to bring any snacks with you. There's plenty. You can graze the whole day that you're there from
Yeah.
great.
Just bring your water.
Eat and drink. Yeah, bring your water for sure. Yeah. You can get ice cream. You can get it's pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
They help. You're not going to go starving when you go to Atlanta to that show.
For sure not.
And Sarah, how about what kinds of education or workshops that might be available during the Atlanta market?
I pulled ones that I thought would be specific to AGM, but then also for newcomers. And so first of all, we're super excited that AGM will be hosting a networking breakfast Friday morning of market. And so please RSVP if you haven't already for a delicious breakfast and getting together. I think that's one of the really valuable things of market is being able to have conversations like these with buyers that you aren't necessarily competitive with, just to be seeing what they're seeing around the floor, more eyes to be looking on those bottom back dusty shelves for the gems, so to say. So besides the AGM networking breakfast in Atlanta, there's a new buyer breakfast and also a first time attendee retailer roundtable. In Las Vegas market, there will also be a retail roundtable and also a buyer coaching session that I think are also potentially interesting, specific event opportunities at these specific summer markets. So I'll put those details in the chat as well.
Thank you, Sarah. That's terrific. And is there extra charges associated with any of those specific events, or is it open to buyers?
There is no charge whatsoever. The networking breakfast, new buyer breakfast, and the round tables, all please do, we request an RSVP.
Absolutely.
The AGM breakfast last year was the first one that was facilitated. And I personally thought it went really well. I think we had about 20, 25 members maybe there. Does that sound right, Jennifer? About? Okay. And we just did open discussion and we said, hey, this is what we found. This is something we found. And we had notes and we all took notes from each other during that breakfast of little hidden gems that we had personally found that maybe they hadn't seen yet. And I think we had a vendor there showing us some travel cases as well, maybe, which they were very interesting and very nice as well. So I think that breakfast, I'll definitely be attending again this year. For me was really interesting because I got some feedback from, again, someone from across the country from me who buys differently than I do, or from even the middle of the country that buys different than I do. So I really love hearing all of what works across the country for people, because it may be that it works great for your part of the country and I happen to be having a themed event that kind of fits that. That back and forth really can set you on a path to finding some new fun items for your club.
I was going to add to that we actually, when we sit down for lunch, just however many of us there are, and we're just sitting at some random table, some on some random floor in one of the 3 buildings, we in the past we start talking to the people sitting around us, because I think there are bigger tables, or you're sitting close to people,
Mhm.
and you just start talking to people from all over the place. And we've gotten quite a few tips from different people who not in the golf business at all, but just, just
Yeah.
there from South Carolina, or some people from Chicago or whatever. And they were like, oh, you got to check this out. And then we would give them, some suggestions on things to check out that we saw that were really cool. Or so it's not just in the golf industry networking. There's people from all over the place there, and
For sure.
if you just strike up a conversation, it's a great way to network. It's just
Mhm.
people you're sitting next to at lunch. It's fantastic. So
Next up is doing that in the buyer's lounge that we now know about.
yeah, right. Yeah, we're gonna have to go. We'll find it. I'll meet you there, Alicia.
We'll be crashing it. Yes, ma'am.
What an outstanding opportunity to look for inspiration outside of golf for certain, whether that's merchandise that's outside of golf or that you're seeing in the showrooms, or from buyers from completely different types of retailers, and what they're doing. We can certainly all learn from each other. So that's wonderful.
Mhm. Thank you. Yeah, I love it.
All
My
I would
first
just
time I went by myself, and I would suggest taking a friend because it's much easier. Yeah.
I would be completely and utterly overwhelmed by myself there for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was just going to reinforce the making friends, whether it's for coffee, meals. I heard a buyer say that she listens, like overhears conversations in the elevator. Just those shuttle rides can be great opportunities just to really ask questions. When the overwhelm happens in talking with sales reps, we all probably have the same questions. So just don't be shy about asking questions.
Terrific. Sarah, could you tell us a little bit about market registration and these details you provided here of the steps folks can take if they have yet not registered?
Yes, I'll put them in the chat as well. I have been a very active chatter here. So there's a few different ways that you can be in touch with us. First, you can enter your details and we'll follow up with you with the link that's in the top on the chat. You're able to register online on either of our websites, or you can reach our team directly. The buyers@andmore.com email address reaches me and a couple of my colleagues personally. I also included phone numbers directly to our buyer services team. It's an in-house team who registers and supports hotel reservations and answers questions to be able to help guide you through a productive and entertaining visit. And I also in the chat put the dining locations and then also our Market 101, where to start.
Great.
I think it's important for everyone to know too, you will walk everywhere. You do not need to rent a vehicle. And if
No.
you need to get back to the airport, they have the train or Uber. The 3 years I've gone, I've never rented a vehicle. I've gone from the airport to the hotel, and from the hotel, it's just a walk to the market. All of them that ANDMORE has associated on their site are within walking distance of the mart. That's another expense you don't have to worry about. Can spend that on ice for your feet or drinks for your soul, whatever you need.
Tylenol.
Right?
And speaking of hotels that Alicia mentioned, we want to be sure to include the very special offer we have in partnership with ANDMORE for AGM members exclusively for free two nights in a hotel for either the Atlanta market or the Las Vegas market. So I can drop a link in the chat for the directions for registering for this specific offer. So very happy to extend this to all of our AGM members who may be attending.
And if I may please, Justine, just add, if you would please book your hotel through On Peak for Atlanta no later than next week. Friday is our comp hotel deadline for those 2 free nights to be applied. And for Las Vegas market, it is 3 weeks from this Friday. And that's with Connections Housing, is our housing vendor for Las Vegas market.
Terrific. And can you remind us of the dates of the temporaries as well, Sarah?
I can, one moment.
Take your time.
Does Vegas do the same and have temporaries as well? Because I've not been to Vegas.
Yes, yes. Our temporaries are all contained in the expo, and they come in on Sunday, the same day as market opens, and then they close on Wednesday, whereas our showrooms close on Thursday. So here first, I'll put temporaries for Atlanta are Wednesday, July 17 to Sunday, the 21st.
Got it.
And then here's for Las Vegas market. And they're fabulous. Oh my goodness, they're such exciting resources. Like, for example, if you shop Magic when that's in Las Vegas, where the expo hosts an apparel market with contemporary apparel designers. So in that case, like some of our permanent showrooms do open during those overlapping events. You just call ahead for an appointment for availability year round, please.
Thank you, Sarah.
Awesome.
All right, and Sarah is also going to tell us a little bit about the Market app. So I'm hoping this video plays for us, but Sarah, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about the app.
So as it was acknowledged earlier, with registering the app, please, is how you will receive your barcode, that when you show up to market, present that barcode for the quickest line to receive your printed paper badge. This also is where you can set up your market plan to indicate which showrooms it is. Showrooms are temporary exhibitors that you're looking to shop or discover during your time at market. And then also, I understand, it sounds like there's multiple systems for doing so, but it would also be a tool that buyers would be able to, when you enter the showroom, there's a QR code to take a picture using the app, take pictures of the products within that showroom that interest you the most, take notes within the app about the products that you saw within that showroom, and then receive a market recap after market ends of what it was that you all saw.
I'll be utilizing that and save some memory on my phone.
There you go. Perfect. Right?
That just
Yeah.
summarizes the features and benefits.
Perfect. All right, and then I also have a QR code here. We did mention the AGM networking breakfast on Friday, July 19th. So you are welcome to register to attend. This QR code will take you to the registration page for that particular networking event. All right. We'd love to open it up to any questions from our audience or any comments, concerns, additional suggestions that folks in the audience use as they maybe have tackled the Atlanta and Las Vegas markets as well.
I have a question. This is Jennifer Morton, CEO for the AGM. One, I would just love to start by thanking our guests, Tammy, Sarah, and Alicia. You guys are the bomb. Sarah, my big question, how many buyers come through both of those markets on just global average? How many people do you see for these?
We would need to look back at past press releases. We don't speak in terms of specific numbers, but we do talk in terms of percentages, also geographical locations that are maybe particularly strong, and also product category representation.
That's a fair answer, but for everyone, there's a lot of people. It truly is a wonderful opportunity to just go and connect with more people.
Thousands, yeah.
Thousands. I never feel like you're typed in or screened in at all, because there's so much square footage and so much space that you always, I think, feel like you have an opportunity to shop.
There's the map. That's the great map that you start with, where you're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna start on floor 18 and work my way down. Alicia goes the opposite way. you'll be passing the same people you'll see over and over again because you're constantly
Sure.
riding the escalators.
So true.
Yeah. Have patience. Know you'll get turned around. Those floor
Yeah.
bridges are the gray walkways in between buildings. I mean, you can walk between building 1 and building 3. So those are huge time savers, I think.
I have a question, Sarah. Is any of the educational presentations ever available on demand for folks who might not be there live, but maybe are interested in some of the educational offerings?
It depends. Some pieces are. For example, we do host a general attendee orientation session for both Atlanta and Las Vegas that was pre-recorded, and that will be available on demand.
Okay.
There's some separate programming that's listed on those events pages that I shared in the chat, but largely, for the most part, the seminars and events that are happening during market happen only during market versus being broadcast,
Sure.
not necessarily entirely all the time.
Great. Thank you.
Another
And-
reason to go.
Yes. And Linda wrote in the chat, great presentation. As a former gift exhibitor and later a gift buyer, I encourage you to attend. It's a great market. Enjoy.
It is a great
True
market.
words. Yep.
Yes.
True words.
There is
Yep.
a lot to see.
This year, I have the pleasure of having my new director of golf tag along too. I sent him our agendas coming up, shows and regionals and that we have to go to, and we have a golf, and I'm good with him coming. He's awesome, great relationship. We know our lanes, we keep our lanes, but he's never experienced it. And so coming here now, I think I'm going to tag along. Now he's coming along for just Wednesday to Friday. I think that's probably going to be enough for him, just saying. But I get to share that experience now with him to show him all the time and energy and effort that we put into going to a market. I think it's exciting that he wants to see it and experience it.
I'm bringing our newest merchandiser with us too, and it's her first time, so I'm excited to see the look on her face when she gets there too, because it is the first time you go, you're like, holy cow.
Yeah, it's wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's so fun.
Great.
And I also just wanted to call out that AGM has produced some incredible gift guides as a digital download with product highlights from what they've seen around market, tips, recommended resources, just what invaluable organization and resource. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for your partnership with ANDMORE. We're delighted to collaborate on things like this and networking breakfast at the market. So terrific.
Really looking forward to all of it. I think it's going to be a great event for everyone.
Wonderful. If that about does it for today's webinar, thank you so much to everyone who joined us, and we hope it provided some tips and preparation to help plan for attending one of the summer markets. So thank you very much, and thank you again to our panelists for joining us and sharing all their expertise. And we hope to see you at upcoming AGM events in education. Take care, everyone.